So hi guys, today I was out and about and the weather, being typical of England, chucking down with rain, but I thought it's not going to stop me taking photos and did a bit of video. So I thought slow motion. Now I know that I can use the Rx10 Mark IV in full manual for slow motion video. It allowed me to mess around a little bit more. So either shot between 500 and 1000 frames per second and full manual. So ISO I had to crank up quite a bit to around about ISO 1000, sometimes down to ISO 500 because there's no sunlight at all, and if you are shooting at high frame rates you do need a lot of light. So these ones are shot all natural light. I haven't any lighting with me at all, and it's just rain, just lots and lots of rain, but it's so cool seeing it just splashing around and bouncing off the ground and things like that. So the Rx10 Mark IV was completely exposed, absolutely soaked through. The only thing I did dry was the lens element at the front to stop once the water droplets got on it. I obviously had to get rid of the water, so using a cloth just kept that dry and clean to stop the water droplets sort of ruining the image. As you can see here, there's one straight on the end of the lens covering my mouth, which looks a bit odd. But that's actually holding the camera sort of facing towards me underneath a plant, like a water, which has got a hanging basket. So the water is just running straight off that. But as you see here, straight down to the ground. That's ISO 1000, believe it or not. I was quite impressed with that actually. And that's at 500 frames per second. It's just so cool because everything just slows down. You can hardly see a splash like that in real term. But it's heavy rain. No wind at all, but you know, it's really kind of cool. And I thought it was a good excuse to absolutely soak the thing to just see how well it performs and if it comes up with any error codes or any problems at all. The only thing you must do if you're using the camera in the rain, that's to do with all the Sonys, you've got the multi-hot shoe where you put your flash gun. That comes with a little plastic cover. If you're not using a flash gun or any lighting or a trigger on it or anything like that, I recommend putting the cover back on, because if you don't and you get caught in the rain or some water or something splashes over the camera or any liquid and the camera is turned on, the little connections there can sort of cross connect, so obviously water conducts electricity and you end up with error messages, like anything like this accessory is not compatible. What it does is it sort of starts getting annoying because it tries to stop the camera working properly. Or in worst case scenario, which I did with my Sony A99, got it absolutely covered in seawater, and the salt actually, even though I managed to wipe the camera down, the salt had eaten into the connection, so I ended up having to have a new hot shoe fitted, which was not the end of the world, but you know, so just got to be a little bit careful with that. Yeah, so make sure you keep the cover either in your bag or whatever on it when you're not using, when you're not got a flash gun or something plugged into the camera. But as you can see here, holding it straight up into the rain as such, and the water's pouring straight down onto the lens and all over the camera. Not that bothered, it's not worried. There's no water ingress whatsoever anywhere. I checked the battery compartment, I checked the where the SD card goes, no water ingress at all. Nothing around any screws or where the lens goes up, in and out, sorry. End of the lens into the lens hood, absolutely fine. The only thing I would possibly be a little bit concerned about is if it was high winds and driving rain. It's the only time I'd ever be really worried, so that the pressure, like the water pressure is much higher. When you've just got normal rain falling out of the sky, and even if it's like this, it was quite heavy, the water pressure, as in it hitting the camera, isn't enough to penetrate anything really, hence why it's absolutely fine. So obviously I'm still messing around with the slow motion just because it's great fun. I actually shot this at f6.3 ISO 1200, ISO 1250 at 500 frames per second. As you can see, it looks pretty good, but you can see a little bit more depth into where the water part of the video is, but still soft either side, the writing on the ashtray there. But if you're shooting at f4 or even f2.4, your depth is very shallow, so you've got to be a little bit careful, especially I don't know where the raindrops are going to land, so I was just giving myself a little bit more space to get something in focus. That was shot at wide angle. Sorry, this one was shot at 600mm, stood back, and as you can see, the look is very similar, but actually probably better zoomed in rather than being wide angle. But it's such a usable piece of equipment because you've got that range and you've got the control of the apertures and everything. It really does make a difference. Gives you so much more control, and that's the reason I bought it compared to just a normal compact. You've got a very fast lens from f2.4 to f4. So in lower lights, where I've been using a 600mm f6.3 for example, you had to drop your shutter speeds or increase your ISO. You don't need to in this. So for general everyday use, that I pick this camera up and go out, I'm not carrying any extra weight. It's easy to use and very quick. It's very efficient, and the quality you get from it is brilliant. Plus, I wish why Sony haven't added the 1000 frames a second slow motion video to like the A7R3 and stuff like that. It would be awesome, absolutely awesome. I love this feature. It's such a different look and life, and the stuff you can actually capture, things like simple things like this, absolutely brilliant. It's just really cool. It's just a shame the sun wasn't out, but it's just shows you, water just splashing straight onto the lens is even cool. The way you get that ripply effect, just really works. But anyway, guys, see if you've got an RX10 Mark IV. I'm not sure about the sealing, weather sealing and stuff like that is on the Mark III or the Mark II or whatever. But obviously, this is actually quite happy in the rain. It doesn't bother at all. When I was out in the rain, unprotected for a good hour and a half, I did wipe the camera over a couple of times, but only like the lens end, and also my viewfinder and the screen, just so I could see properly. Other than that, the camera is absolutely fine, so don't think you need to worry. Anyway, guys, please subscribe, please click the notification bell, and keep sharing. Cheers.